Hello everyone and welcome back to the Wicked Weekly. My name is Brian if you happen to be new around here, and I was hoping today to bring you an interview with Thomas going over all of what's to come with the future of No Rest for the Wicked. But for those of you out there who work in development and internet world, note that yesterday so many things were down. I couldn't do basically half of the things that I need to do for my regular job, and let alone all of my apps and services were down. So we've rescheduled that interview. So please look forward to it. I cannot wait to sit down and catch up with Thomas on everything with patch 1, with multiplayer and beyond. So I'm excited. I hope you guys are as well. But this video is going to focus in on one main aspect. The No Rest for the Wicked official X account tweeting this out. We need your insight, Wicked fans, with the survey link. And in this video, we're going to step through the survey. I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on the questions while I fill it out, and maybe even provide some, context for those of you who haven't. But the goal is to get as many of you guys voicing your opinion about this game. I believe in more speech, not less speech. So I feel one of the things that I like to do here or at the channel is highlight as many people as possible. And that's why you'll continue to see me shout out, YouTube creators like Wicked Builds. And if you are a content creator yourself, or if you ever thought about getting into content creation and I can help you out in any way, I want more speech. I want more people to feel empowered, and I want less of you guys to feel analysis paralysis. And we'll talk about that in today's message, I hope. But the post goes on to continue. Whether you've played No Rest for the Wicked or have followed it closely, we'd like to hear your thoughts on how you see the game, its genre, vibe, and who it really is for. It takes less than 10 minutes to help us shape the future of the game. And as a YouTuber, I do apologize. I know I'm long-winded. I thank you guys profusely for sticking with me through my ramblings. But it goes on. It says, thanks for being a part of the journey. We can't wait to hear your thoughts. So I just want to say, guys, we obviously No Rest for the Wicked here. I love covering it. And I want to say a special thank you to the 429 of you guys in the last 28 days. New faces, fresh faces. I'm so glad you're here, and I hope you continue to enjoy the content, especially ADSF and Jack Fiddler are brand new. They sound off in the comments, so I want to shout them out here as well. Also, one final thing before we get into the survey, I want to continue to shout out the podcast, the Gaming Roundtable. Thank you guys so much. We are now at plus 11 for the last 28 days. We cover gaming news, consoles, and so much more from a developer perspective, but also just from a real nuanced take with it. And the podcast is so much fun. Please go check it out. We live stream every Friday at noon. It's a very engaging show, and I want you guys to be a part of it. So thank you for helping to grow the podcast over there as well. But all that being said, let's now dive into the survey and let's see how we can shape the future of No Rest for the Wicked. All right, let's see what they've got for us. The first question, how do you see the game? In your opinion, how well do each of these describe No Rest for the Wicked? Rate from 1 to 3. Doesn't fit as all, somewhat fits, and definitely fits. Souls-like methodical combat, punishing difficulty, and deliberate pacing. I do feel like this actually hits, but there's gonna, I think, be a little bit of 1 to 2 in this range, specifically because they are bringing out realm tiers when it's all said and done. Like, we know that's coming, and I think that's going to really open up the game to a lot of people, while at the same time giving it that option to really make it as incredibly challenging. I do feel the combat fits that niche, but obviously there is a different take on the Souls-like because you have food. It does different things that isn't essentially like this recharge and all the enemies respawn. So the world is a little bit like that, but it's not 100% like that. But I still feel like I feel like it definitely fits into that Souls-like mindset. Souls-like, light, inspired by Souls games, but more forgiving or accessible. I do feel like that also fits as well. So like being, again, realm tiers, I think is going to allow it to be both a Souls light and a Souls like specifically. Action RPG, fast-paced combat, character progression, loot focused. So the thing that makes me want to vote a 2 here is the fast-paced aspect, because when I hear the conversation online, I don't know if you guys agree, disagree, or if you've even seen some of the dialogue, the discussion that happens, is the action, the ARPG is really trying to, highlight Diablo 4 and Path of Exile and Path of Exile 2, that kind of game, even though I do consider this an action RPG. Obviously, it's loot and progression focused. That's what XP and gear is all about. But I'm gonna go and settle in on a 2. I'd be very curious about where you guys fall in any of these answers. Mix of Souls-like and ARPG, a hybrid that draws heavily from both. I do feel that absolutely. I think essentially if they took out fast-paced, I could easily be a 3. But also, like, when I want to see some more progression, especially XP progression, even after level cap, and that's what I want in all games. This isn't anything new for anybody who's been following my content for any period of time. I do feel like when XP becomes completely irrelevant, it loses a little bit of its magic. It doesn't need to be like the be all end all, but I always still like that, when you get XP at level cap, that there's something that can be applied to, whether it's terms of, cosmetics and things like that. I think overall there's a lot of options there. Anyway, finally, action, adventure, exploration 4, not purely combat or loot driven. I don't feel like that fits that at all. And maybe I'm misunderstanding, but I'm going to go ahead and put that as a 1. And so you can see here for the first question, a couple 3 3s, 1 2, and 1 1 to break it down. All right, which of the following tags best matches the game No Rest for the Wicked in your opinion? Challenging combat, absolutely. Oh, I got to only pick 3. Jeez Louise. Best played as co-op. We haven't played co-op yet. I'd love to check this, but we haven't played it yet, guys. I would assume I love that. No, not fast paced, not slow paced, skill based. Yes, absolutely. I might have to make some changes. RPG, Souls-like, action RPG, hack and slash. Yeah, skill based, dark fantasy, challenging combat. Oh, I want to check more than 3. I want to check more than 3. It'd be like other, like here's the 6 things that we're going to put in there. All right, we're going to move on. I think I'm going to have to settle in on that. I'd be very curious as y'all's answers as well. Feel free to share those with me on the Discord, by the way. It's open, free to all. Top link in the description. Totally gets you in. I've had a couple of people asking about that. It also gets you to all the content that I make across the internet, but more than anything else, that's the easiest way to get into the Discord, sir, if you want to take a part of that. All right, how do you like to play No Rest for the Wicked? I like to play as multiplayer. Like, I really am multiplayer potential. That gets it for me. Yes, I love playing multiplayer. I know that a lot of people love the single player experience, and more power to you guys as well. But there's something just fun about that aspect. I've been enjoying doing a lot of multiplayer with the kids, for example. But, then again, when you got kids, you got instant baked in, game time, family time, which is great because it's a hobby that we all enjoy. All right, moving on. How much are you currently enjoying No Rest for the Wicked? Scale 1 to 5. Absolutely loving it. 100%. I am absolutely a fanboy for this game. All right. How many hours of No Rest for the Wicked have you played? More than 50 hours. You guys have been following them well over 200 plus hours into the game, and that's going to continue to climb here on up. What expectations do you have before playing this game, and how did your experience compare? Let's see here. Was looking for a fun ARPG and got way more than I expected and more hope for what's to come. All right. What do you think about the game, and what are all the things that the game does well? Combat, story, level, zone design, zones, the world. Let's see here. Weapons. Man, I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I just absolutely love. Combat, story, zones, world, weapons, and has shared about what's to come. I'll just put it at that. What other games does No Rest for the Wicked remind you of in terms of feel and gameplay? I get a dark Elden Ring Dark Souls feel. Blasphemous is pretty fun. Monster Hunter not so much. Last Epoch. I'm gonna say Diablo and maybe some Hades. Yeah, I haven't spent too much time with Path of Exile. Fun game. I got Path of Exile 2. Should probably try to find some more time to play more. That and it's not. It's either Vampire Survivors or that one vampire game. not the roguelike, but the. Why am I drawing a blank? I literally own it. Anyway, if you guys know the name of the game, I'm sure I'll figure it out after I stop filming. All right, here we go. What aspects of the game do you enjoy on a scale of 1 to 3? The combat I absolutely enjoy. The atmosphere, world building, art and visuals, yes. Loot and gear, I love it. The challenge, absolutely. Co-op potential, bring it please. Story and lore. Okay, I rated it 5 stars. I don't know how I would go down in any of those categories. If you had to pitch No Rest for the Wicked to a friend in one sentence, what would you say? All right, so here's what I decided. It's the best ARPG that takes the genre in a whole new direction and will be known for creating the term Wicked-like in the future. I think that's pretty solid. Let me know how I did, guys. All right, so now we move on to page 2. About me as a gamer. I play from the USA. What types of games have you played on console or PC in the past 6 months? Action RPGs, Souls-like, story-driven RPGs, Metrovania. No, I haven't played many of those. Co-op adventure games. I haven't had time for those right now. Roguelikes like Hades. I have these. I haven't played them in the last 6 months. Open world action games. Neither of those. FPS and PvP shooters. Like not in the last 6 months. I've like really just primarily been playing a lot of this stuff right here. Strategy simulation and casual puzzle party. Nope, none of those. All right. Let's see. Which of the following games have you played and enjoyed in the past year? I have played Elden Ring in the past year. I played Diablo 4 and Path of Exile and Hades. And Hollow Knight, absolutely enjoyed that. Baldur's Gate 3. Haven't played this yet. I did the demo. I don't think that truly counts, but we'll go ahead and keep it like that. How many hours a week do you usually spend gaming? Probably right now, less than 5. I guess at this moment, more than that, because we've been doing, I've been able to stream a lot more, so I've been able to put easily way more hours. But generally, I think you get around 4 hours a week to game on the things that I want. I do play games with the kids, but I don't think I'd count that there. What platforms do you mainly play on? Xbox One, Series, One S, X? No. I'm guessing they're just Xbox, PlayStation, Steam Deck, Nintendo Switch, PC. Yeah, I'm assuming that's just straight Xbox because there it is. All right, what kinds of games do you generally like to play? And what do you find the most interesting? I love co-op. I do like single player story. I love PvP games. Adventure, I don't know. I'll put it right in the middle. Games with a great art style. I don't know, it's highly challenging, kind of. Not too challenging. Yeah, there we go. I think that seems fair. How did you first hear about No Rest for the Wicked? Well, I saw it on the creators, like they did that whole original promotion. That's kind of where I started following the game and started making content around it. So I'll say that. All right, let's go on to the next page. All right, so final thoughts. Here we rock and roll. If you could change anything about No Rest for the Wicked, what would it be? While I'm looking forward to the job system, I would still love to see XP have some value even at level cap. It could be some type of perk or something that we can continue to invest in. Bragging rights. All right, cool. That's just me. All right, would you recommend this game? Absolutely, definitely. What would you like to hear from us on socials? How would you like to be engaged here? I see here updates, news. Yeah, I think that's it. Like more Wicked inside, right from the devs. Cool. Is there anything else you'd like to tell us? I don't know. Keep up the good work. Keep the good work. Keep on cooking. All right, guys. There we go. Submitting this. And bada bing, bada boom. Very curious about all of y'all's answers as well. But that being said, that kind of wraps up the No Rest for the Wicked piece of the video itself. I do want to end on a message of hope. June is Men's Mental Health Awareness. And no, this isn't an ad. This is just a guy struggling alongside each and every one of you. I think fortunate because I know I do get depression, more seasonal than anything else. Vitamin D is a huge help and something I have to always try and maintain, especially as a ginger. So if you guys are struggling, maybe consider some of that. But I want to talk about analysis paralysis today, namely because I've had a couple of people reach out. I watched a great review. A guy just made his first video. And he was like, hey, check it out. I thought he did a knockout job. I said, once he gets more videos up, I'm happy to highlight him here on the channel a little bit more. Same goes for any of you guys. And one of the things I find a lot, especially in content creation, there's a lot of loneliness, self-doubt, and analysis paralysis that can really kind of hold you back. But this extends outside of that. One of the things, especially like as a Catholic, I would say, like, yeah, give your life to Jesus. That's an absolute win in the history books. But that being said, even from a non-religious perspective, I want you to do the thing that you have been thinking about forever. And just do it, because if you find out you don't really like it, at least you know that. So when you're laying on your bed, 60 years from now, hopefully, you're not going like, I wish I would. I always wanted to do that and I never gave it a shot. Like, I want you to get out of analysis paralysis. And the one best way to do it is that nobody cares if your video or the thing you do is a big success or not. I think we build up a lot of expectation, because my initial, like, if anybody ever looks at the earlier videos, yeah, maybe the quality is a little bit lower. I don't know. Maybe my microphone wasn't as good. Like, there's a lot of things that prevent us from doing the thing. And I want you to know that all of that's just noise. I want you to hyper focus and just rip the Band-Aid off. You're going to thank yourself later, and you're going to find one of two things. Either it gets easier and you have a lot of fun with it, or it's not fun. And you're like, at least you know that about yourself. But don't ever sit down. And I want you to, like, I use this phrase with my wife, and I don't know if anybody out there is ADHD. Maybe this will be useful for you. But choose guilt over regret. A lot of people do a lot of things so they don't feel guilty, but then they resentment. And it's like, that actually, I think, is the worst option. So it's better to choose guilt than resentment. And same kind of concept. Don't do things, especially when you know that you might look back later and regret that you didn't make that effort. Again, it doesn't mean success. I'm not ever calling you. And one of the things, again, back to my Catholicism, my roots here, is that, like, I'm not called to be a success. I'm called to try. This is, from all of the things that, I have been, it's the Great Commission, right? Like, all of the things that I've been called to do, I'm not ever guaranteed that, like, what I do is successful, right? And that's fine. But I'm called to try, and just to, I guess in a way, give it back to the world and be like, all right, here's the thing. Anyway, that's my ramblings for today's message. I want you to guys, especially if you're stuck in analysis paralysis, do whatever you can, take whatever little big steps, baby steps that you need, and just pull the trigger and learn from it, and then rinse and repeat. And I think you'll be very thankful for having done that. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me on this journey. I wish you guys all the very best. I'm looking forward to bringing you guys the interview with Thomas and so much more. Thank you so much for spending time with me. I hope it was well worth it, and I hope I'll see you in the next video. But until then, take care.
6 kids deep, but the quest goes on. Press continue till the break of dawn. Raise that chalice, light the flame. In the house and in the game. Kick soul prayers and add more prime. One more level, it's redemption time.